I told you I'm gonna save you about 50 bucks every time you go to the grocery store? If you love steak, you are in the right place. On this channel, we cut meat, we cook meat, we eat meat. Today, we are going to be focusing on the beef tenderloin, the filet mignon, the king of steaks, the most tender of all steaks. As you go to the grocery store, all of the prices are keep going up and up and up. It already was expensive, now it's a little more expensive. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to save money cutting your own fillets. Stay to the end of this video because I'm gonna show you my cut test and I'm gonna find out the true cost of the completed tenderloins after we trim them up. Let's see how much money we actually saved. Forget all this cellophane grocery store crap. We're not doing that anymore. We're cutting our own. I'm gonna show you how. Let's go. This is gonna be what we're gonna use today. It is a 6-inch boning knife, and it's gonna be really the only thing we're gonna need for this project. Cutting a beef tenderloin there's a lot of intricate things you need to do, so the boning knife works perfectly for what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put a link in the description. It's an Amazon link for this knife. And it's about, as of just recording, it's running about 30 bucks. So I do get a small commission off of every time that you click on the link and buy the knife. So it helps support the channel. Meat's expensive, guys. So I'm gonna keep making these videos. Help me out. You know, on YouTube, this is what all the barbecue guys have. You're not cool unless you have some black gloves. To set up our station, we're gonna get a couple of bowls. I'm gonna have one for edible waste and one for inedible waste. I know the term is kind of weird, inedible waste and edible waste. Basically, we're gonna have one bowl for everything, the leftovers that we can trim up and grind. And then we're gonna have one bowl for everything that we need to take that needs to be thrown away that's inedible. All right, so a little bit of orientation. We have the head cut right here. So it's going from the head to the tail. This looks bigger, this looks smaller. There is a piece that runs right along here that is called the chain, okay? So it is a piece of meat that is very tough, a lot of connective tissue, and it is not tenderloin. So we wanna go ahead and separate that as best we can. We wanna separate that and not have it in our final product. You just kind of release it with your fingers. If you can't do it with your fingers, you just kind of help it out with your knife. You can work through with your fingers and it's cutting through. And as soon as we get to the point where we can't do it, we're just going to just cut it down the center. Again, this is going to be a great thing to go ahead and grind, so we're gonna put it in our grind pile. It has great flavor, it's just tough. All right, we're gonna flip it back over. Now, the next step is we're just gonna take this outer layer of sinew off right here. Just kind of do it with your fingers. We're just getting all the, if it doesn't look like meat, we don't want it. Now this fat is kind of sinewy. It doesn't really get, it's not gonna grind, it's gonna get stuck in our grinder. So this will be a part of that we're gonna throw away. But it comes right off. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll cut this part of the head cut off, just exposing the tenderloin. This is still a good piece of tenderloin meat. So we're gonna keep this on there. It's gonna give us a better yield. We're gonna get more steaks out of it. But I just need to trim it up a little bit so we see the meat. And again, it's that hard fat, so we can go ahead and put that in our grind pile. And when you're doing this, you're just, because we have a super sharp knife, it's just going really nice and easy. You're not sawing, you're just kind of like trimming it up. There's a great piece of meat under here, and we just got to figure out how to get it out. There's a big chunk of fat in between this, the head cut and the, what we call the Chateaubriand in the middle. So we'll just cut that out, see? This first pass, we're just kind of looking to make sure that all the big chunks of fat are taken off of there. At this point, we're gonna flip it over. There are little pockets of fat here that need to be removed. So we're gonna go into that little area right here between the head cut and the Chateaubriand. There's a little more chunk of fat in there. We're just gonna nice V cut that out of there. And then we're just gonna take a light, a little bit of this fat off. It also, all this goes in our grind pile. This is great grind. Just take it slow. You don't want to cut off too much because then, we still want a little bit of fat on there. We don't want these big chunks. So we'll just take that down just a little bit. And if you want to leave the big chunks on there, go for it. This is the great thing about doing your own butchery. You can do whatever it is you want. A little bit more here on the side. We'll just take that down a little bit. On the head cut part, there's a little piece of silver skin. Now, silver skin is elastin. It's where the tenderloin's connected. It's just a different kind of connective tissue. So here's the thing. This will never break down. This is not something where if I cook it for 6 hours, it's going to break down into something nice. This always needs to be removed when you're doing this because it'll just end up being a chewy mess that if you ever get a filet at a restaurant and you get this chunk of the gristle and fat, the gristle that won't go away no matter how much you chew it, that's what this is called. So it's called silver skin or elastin. Alrighty, now we're gonna flip it back over and work on the silver skin on this side. This is the trickiest part of this whole project. This is a large piece of silver skin that all needs to be removed. So we need to do that in a very specific way. So what we're gonna do is take the tip of our boning knife and you're gonna wiggle it underneath the silver skin. Because again, we wanna get all the silver skin off with as little meat cut up as possible. So we're gonna come out this way, and what this does is this gives you a little handle, okay? Gives you a little handle, and now we're gonna take the knife the other way, angling slightly upwards, and then we're just going to run the knife down the silver skin. And it should come off just like that. You see here, there's not a ton of meat on here. The more you do it, the better you're gonna be at it and the less meat you're gonna waste. So we're gonna try it again. Make your handle, pull with your left hand, you're gonna pull to get tension on it, okay? And then come all the way down, okay? Beautiful. Do it again. And then we're just gonna clean up the rest of it, the little pieces that are remaining. So now we're gonna take the silver skin off of here. There's a slightly tricky part here because this silver skin goes into the muscle right here. So we're gonna need to try to remove that in a nice way so we don't waste any meat. So we're gonna make our handle, but this time, what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide it down and not go all the way through. Again, we're just using that tip of our knife and it goes all the way down. I'm only using, when I get down to here, I'm only using about that much of the knife. Cut that out because I've already scored it. And now what we're gonna do is kind of spread this apart. Very carefully, very succinctly, just take this out of this. You're gonna cut from each side. This is called a V-cut technique. So we're gonna cut one side because it goes all the way down here. So we're gonna cut one side along the silver skin, then we're gonna cut the other side. And then that will release it. One side, then the other side. And then you can kind of get underneath it. See how it just pulls right out of there? And then we're gonna pull it all the way down to the tip. Beautiful, look, see there's nothing left. That was perfect. Again, these things aren't that difficult. You're just gonna need to practice. So you're gonna need to do this a couple times before you get good at this. Like anything, success comes with practice. The difference is with our practice for this, we get to eat a bunch of steak. So that's a bonus. All right, so we're all trimmed up, ready to slice. Now, a couple things about how to get the most yield out of this product as we can. Again, we paid a lot of money for it. We want to make sure we get everything we can out of it. So what's gonna happen is this little tip right here, I'm gonna cut that off. Okay, this is gonna go in our steak tips. Now, as you can see, it's bigger here. It goes down kind of medium all the way down to really small. A typical filet mignon portion is about 6 to 8 ounces. So what we're gonna do is with this big head cut, I want you to do 2 fingers, okay? 2 fingers, and then go ahead and cut it. See, boom, right there. We got a nice looking steak right there. So I'll put it on my tray. Again, head cut still, we're gonna go 2 fingers. Now this one's gonna be a little thinner. This is called the Chateaubriand. Now, if you were gonna do like a beef Wellington or something like that, you would leave this whole. You could also do a great filet roast if you want to just keep this whole center section, but this is the nicest section. We're gonna go 3 fingers on this one. You know, this is a really kind of thick tenderloin, so we may just go, 2 plus another half, okay? Because I don't want to get these things too big. Now, if you want them big, you cut them however you want them, man. You want a 16 ouncer, you can have a 16 ouncer, That's the great thing about cutting your own. Again, we're gonna go, for this thick one, we're gonna go 2. If you get a thinner tenderloin, do the 3 fingers, but this one's pretty thick. So we're gonna go 2 and then another like half finger, okay? Boom, that's probably a 9 ouncer, 10 ouncer. Okay, going to go 2 and maybe a little less. Okay? 2. Now we're getting to a little thinner part. So now we're gonna go, now we'll go with a 3. And again, you're just cutting down the middle. We're just slicing now. We've done the hard work. Now it's just the easy work. All right. So it looks like we're gonna get one more. At this point, you wanna look at what you have left as it goes down and get one more good steak out of it. And I'm gonna show you this cool trick about how to get one more out of it. When I worked at the steakhouse, it was all about getting the maximum you can. So what we're gonna do on this one is this goes down, we're gonna go 4 fingers, okay? Because we're gonna go real wide. And this tail, we'll go ahead and cut that for steak tips. All right, but this kind of looks like a weird steak. So this is what we did in the steakhouse. What you're gonna do is butterfly this one. You're gonna cut through about halfway, 3/4 of the way, and then you're gonna flip it like this. Oh my goodness, look at that. I made a steak. If you need to, you can tie it if you wanted to. But again, I made another whole steak out of a little tiny piece and it made more sense. This is a cool steakhouse trick. Here it is, boom. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 steaks plus a little bit of steak tip. This project is so easy. Once you do the first part a couple of times, this is easy, man. We got this for days. All right, remember when we took off the chain? There's still a little bit of trim that we can do this. Again, this is our edible waste. We're gonna end up grinding this. But again, we're gonna take off a lot of this fat. There's also some silver skin that runs along the end here. We're just gonna kind of, because we're gonna grind it, it really doesn't have to be pretty. So there's so much intermuscular elastin in this piece. This is why I always wanna remove it, because it'll be the chewiest thing you've ever eaten. If you trim it right though, this meat part is very flavorful. While I'm doing this, I wanted to ask everybody a question. So what is your favorite type of steak? Are you a ribeye person? You fillets, New York strips or other? Like, put in the comments which one is your favorite, and if it's other, I want to know what it is, because maybe I can do a video on it. All right, just like that, and we can chop it up right now if you want to. And all this is gonna go in our edible pile. We're gonna bust open a few of these. I went to a local grocery store and got a bunch of fillets. Let's do the Pepsi challenge. Let's do side-by-side comparison about which steak looks better. Oh look, the sound of freshness, cellophane being torn open. All right, so there we go. We got our first package. So the first big problem is they have not taken off any of the silver skin. We talked about that. That silver skin is inedible. This is the chain right here that we removed because it is also very tough. Remember, you are paying $24.59 for this piece of meat that needs to be ground up. So this already here we got like a D- on this cut. Let's go to the next one. All right. Oh, got our pad there to take any moisture because we got to leave it there forever. So look, they done a butterfly cut. I did one of those, so it's not that bad. More silver skin. Look at this one, it's a little brown. Needs a little brown, if you can see that. Oh man, but look at it, like you want to grill that up. Look, it's high up here, it's low down here. Like, how do I even make that into a decent sized steak? I don't even know. All right. More silver skin. Again, they just didn't take any time. They just didn't do any of the work to make a steak the best. Like, look at this. Silver skin. This. I'm paying a premium price for this thing that actually I still need to trim. I still need to trim that. That's not working. I just need to do this. That's kind of how, that was actually how they cut these tenderloins. They just hack at them. Oh my goodness. I'm just getting more and more angry the more that I open. This is just trash. More silver skin, more silver skin. Oh my goodness. All right, let's compare this trash grocery store butcher, I guess. I don't know what's happening here, to the ones I just showed you how to do. So here's one, like this is one of the better ones. This guy just got a little bit of silver skin. There's no silver skin over here. There's no fat. They all look beautiful. Okay, like we got the ones with a huge amount of silver skin. Where's that one that's just like all jacked up? Like these are just all, like look at this. Which one do you want? Would you like this one or do you want that one? I'm gonna pick this one. We don't need to do a blindfolded taste test on which steaks are better and why. The crazy thing is, if I got this right here, I get the privilege of paying extra. Then I get the privilege of having a lower quality meat that's been there underneath this cellophane for God knows how long. And I get the privilege of just, of having to either trim it myself again or having a steak that's inedible. All right, here we go. This is the final results from the cut test that I did from the Filet project we've been working on. We're gonna see what the true cost is after we have trimmed out our tenderloins. All right, so the pre-trimmed weight is 8.03 pounds. Please excuse any handwriting or spelling mistakes. All right, that's edible waste. We end up with 1.58 pounds of edible waste. And I was pretty conservative on what I decided to throw away and what I didn't. You could grind some of that stuff up and even get a better yield. But this is, this is what we did just to stay on the conservative side. Okay, we're gonna subtract those two numbers and we come up with, let's see, 6.45 pounds. That's our after trim weight. That's our usable meat. To find the new price, we're going to take the total cost, divide it by the usable pounds, and that's going to give us our new price. So I paid $120.52. We're going to divide it by 645. That's in pounds. And it's equal our new price of $18.68 per pound. So that is accounting for what we threw away. Now, we're going to look at what we bought, our pre-cuts. So our pre-cut that I got at the grocery store was see my notes here, was $24.59 per pound. Okay? So if we subtract our $18.68 a pound, that's going to give us a savings of $5.21 per pound. Okay? Now we're going to take that $5.91, multiply it by how many usable pounds we had, 6.45, and that is going to equal $38.12. This is how much money we saved cutting our own tenderloins. A That's all we need to know right there, 38 bucks. And we got a better product. We paid less money for it. And we got extra things like some ground beef and some filet tips that we get those extra too. So all around, this is how you win with home butchery. Okay, this is how you do it. I know what you're saying. Maybe you're not a filet guy. Maybe you're a ribeye guy. Okay, well, maybe you're a ribeye person. Sorry, maybe you're a ribeye person. Well, if you're a ribeye person, I got a great video for you. I'm gonna link it right here.